Hello and welcome back to F1 22 Driver Career Mode Season 2. Yeah, we're back. We had a decent Season 1 actually, ending up 8th, that pains me to say, 8th in the Driver Championship after we could have had 7th if not for the whole Abu Dhabi drama, but it is what it is. Not quite on the same scale as some other drama that has happened there in the past, but we move. And on to Season 2 we go. We've been hard at work developing the car for the next season. And as you can see, it's paid off. We are now the 3rd best car on the grid, just behind Ferrari. And we might even overtake Ferrari when it comes to getting into Bahrain and Australia. It's going to be close. But boy oh boy has there been some driver changes over the winter break. First up, I mean you can see it. Charles Leclerc has gone from Ferrari, after winning the championship, back to Alfa Romeo. Can't really explain that one, but he's obviously had enough of their strategy. Next up, Daniel Ricciardo made his way to Ferrari from McLaren, so that's an interesting one. Kevin Magnussen from Haas to Aston Martin. Pierre Gasly's gone to McLaren. Sebastian Vettel to AlphaTauri. Fernando Alonso is back in the sport at Haas, and Robert Schwartzman has joined Alfa Romeo, which means Bottas has retired and Zhou Guanyu has been booted from the second seat. Wow. I didn't see that one coming. Anyway, car hasn't really changed. The car hasn't changed at all, in fact. But let's have a look at the lineup for Season 2. Starting off in Bahrain, which is today's video. We're going to head there in just a second. Then we go off to Australia, then Italy, where we've got a sprint race, off to Miami. And we head over to Spain, Azerbaijan, Canada. We had a great race in Canada last year. Great Britain. Austria, where we also had a pretty good race as well. We came from the back and managed to score a couple of points over that weekend on both races. Hungary, that's a new one for the calendar. Then we head over to Belgium. We've got Italy again for Monza. Singapore, another new one to the calendar. Japan, we could have had an amazing race there last season, but our engine said no. And then we go to Mexico, and finally we end in Brazil. But let's head to Bahrain, and here's what happened. Here's what happened in one of the practice sessions. We nearly got rear-ended by one of the Red Bulls. And we managed to avoid. I just saw the arrow, the indicator arrow, as I was coming out the pit lane, just go red. And I thought, hold on a minute. So I just got out of the way. And yeah, narrowly avoided that one. But let's head to the track for the first time ever in Season 2 for qualifying. Here we are. Q1. This is our second lap. We are improving, of course, hoping to get ourselves into Q2. It's looking pretty comfortable at the moment, to be fair. Ninth fastest then so far. Nothing really to write home about. McLaren absolutely flying, as they were at the end of Season 1, coming into Season 2, are just, yeah, absolutely flying. But we lose Vettel, Schumacher, Stroll, Leclerc and Latifi, so Leclerc's move back to Alfa Romeo may not be what he thinks it's going to be as we come across the line for our second flyer in Q2, and that's P7, perfectly good enough to get us into the top 10 shootout. And here we are. Esteban Ocon is just about matching us at the moment, which is good. It's what you want to see. The two Red Bulls lock out the top so far. But yeah, here's who we lose then. George Russell in the Mercedes. That's a bit of a shocker. Kevin Magnussen, Alex Albon, Robert Schwartzman and Yuki Tsunoda. Fernando Alonso, though, in that Haas, into Q3. Into Q3 we go then. And this is our second lap. Right at the end of the session, hoping to improve. 1.2 seconds up so far, which is a huge amount. So we might be able to do something pretty spectacular here. as we come to the last corner. We've gone purple in sector 2. And up towards the line, what are we going to manage? 1.3 seconds up now. P4. That'll do nicely. Alrighty then, here is the top 10 for tomorrow's race. Lando Norris has had a blinder. He's put it on pole. Unbelievable start to the season for him. Sergio Perez and Max Verstappen in the Red Bulls, as you'd probably expect, have done the top 3. And we're on the second row though, so that's pretty handy. Fernando Alonso didn't really manage to do much else in the Haas, but he did get into the top 10, so yeah, it's going to be an interesting race tomorrow.
Months of rumour and speculation all come to an end today as we return to racing for the opening event of what promises to be an enthralling season. Welcome along then to round 1 of this year's Formula 1 World Championship. We'll be racing around 3.36 miles of the magnificent Bahrain International Circuit today. Keep an eye out for drivers locking the front left down into the tricky braking zone of turn 10. It's time to see how our drivers are stacking up after yesterday's exciting qualifying session. Lando Norris will lead us away from pole position, edging out Sergio Perez, who lines up P2. Moving on to the rest of the grid, we have Verstappen, Marshall, Pierre Gasly and Ocon, Sainz, Ricciardo, Hamilton and Fernando Alonso, Russell, Magnussen, Alex Albon and Schwartzman, Tsunoda, Vettel, Mick Schumacher and Lance Stroll, Leclerc and Nicolas Latifi. It's almost time for those 5 red lights to go out then. Let's see who can prevail today. A new season then, a clean slate where anything could happen. Anthony Davidson is with me today as once again we get another year of Formula 1 underway.
We're into those tense few minutes before the first race then. Everyone's a little bit nervous about reliability. They haven't been running in the hot, turbulent wake of other cars in practice. And they've not been pushing at 100% for long durations. Let's hope no one has to deal with any nasty surprises.
Okay, how was that pull away? You'll have a bit more grip than that on the start, but we need to warm the tyres properly now. Make sure you get some heat into the brakes as well.
Here we go then, for the first round of Season 2 of this driver career in Bahrain, and also will be the first career race that we've done in Bahrain. Not a ton of experience here. It's a tricky circuit in these new cars just because of how the tight, because they don't like the slow speed corners, so it does make it tricky. But here we are then, lining up on the grid.
Superb parking there, mate. Let's make sure we get the edge on the surrounding drivers as the lights go out.
And the race will be starting.
The start sequence will begin as soon as the grid is formed. Be ready with the clutch.
Any second now. Here we go then, the 5 red lights illuminate. And we're underway in Bahrain for Season 2. Not a bad start, you know, although I say that, we do look like we're getting a little bit swamped as we all head into turn 1. Going, well, I say we did not get swamped at all. We send it down the inside on Max Verstappen into turn 1, and then we're onto the podium already. Now we've got Norris and Perez just ahead who are fighting, which is going to give us a really, really good opportunity to come up and potentially pounce for second or first. Norris, look at that, almost off the track there fighting with Perez, and we've got wing damage already. Max Verstappen goes round the outside and we say no you don't, thank you very much. Luckily it's only minor wing damage, so we can deal with that and just get on with it. But yeah, an interesting start. We managed to gain a place, which is always a good thing, but we also picked up some damage. As you see, we sort of wash wide around that turn 10 almost all the time. It's such a tricky corner. But a bit further back, George Russell started in P11, I think, and is currently finding himself all the way down in P13, and Lewis is in 11th, so a bit of a shocker for Mercedes at the start of this season. Daniel Ricciardo's having a decent one, I suppose, in the Ferrari, but you'd expect them to be a bit higher, not in 7th or 8th. But Pierre Gasly and Lando Norris in those McLarens are absolutely flying as we watch Esteban Ocon fighting. Max Verstappen's just pulled into the pit lane, so I would imagine his contact... we had contact with somebody earlier on. I think it was George Russell as well coming in, so not a great start for those two, but it all is what it is. And we've got a virtual safety car because Charles Leclerc is out of the session. Here's what happened. I don't know what he was thinking there. It doesn't even look like he locked up. He just didn't slow down in time.
Okay,
And
VSC
yeah,
ending. We're going green. Maintain positive delta until the green flag.
that was the end of his race, but we are back underway for green flag running.
Okay, clear.
And still in P3 for now. It's a very, very good position for us to be in, so we're just going to have to get our head down. Obviously, the Red Bull is way quicker than us, but I think if we're smart, between us, we could chase down Norris. Now, at this point, I'm feeling a little bit slow, so I let Ocon go because I think he can drag me along. He gets DRS on this straight. I let him go by and tuck him behind to hopefully chase down the two front runners. But we'll see. We'll see. If it doesn't work out, then we'll just swap the places back and we'll go from there. But yeah, I wasn't really feeling fast at this point, so I thought, all right, well, teammates right behind. We've got a little bit of a gap. Let's try this scenario and see what happens. But yeah, no. Oh, what's this? Robert Schwartzman absolutely flying off the track and coming back on to Kevin Magnussen, and now Magnussen's lost a front wing.
Check your MFD for a new strategy option. Okay, slow down, slow down. Your delta's negative, which means you're going too fast. Reduce your pace.
And the safety car's been deployed.
Copy.
Wow, so we already had a virtual safety car. We're going to take this opportunity
Esteban is in the pits.
to box. We will be double stacking, so I've tried to drop back a bit so that he can get in and I can then come in just behind him. We almost got it perfect. You see he pulls away there. If we'd have just slowed down a tiny bit more on the entry, I think we would have nailed that.
Turn in there, mate. Looks like a nice stop time. We're happy with that one.
But we didn't lose track position really because the cars in front of us have not pitted. So Perez has, but Sainz forward chose not to pit. But on the restart, here we go. Then we're underway for green flag running, and we're gonna go for it. See if we can have a go on our teammate into turn one. He goes to the inside, we go to the outside, almost off the track there, and round the outside on Sergio Perez. Are we gonna get it? Are we gonna get it? Oh, we just about get ahead of Perez, and that could be crucial for this race because if we can keep that position when everybody else gets in the pit lane, and Esteban Ocon's through as well. I didn't even say that. We're fighting with him now. After we let him through earlier, we've decided, right, now's our chance. Basically, everybody in front of me hasn't pitted, so we are net leading this race. This is potentially a huge opportunity if we can just keep it together. Alright, few laps on then, lap 13, and we're about to get an overtake potentially on Carlos Sainz, and off he goes into the pit lane. So that leaves us free now
DRS has been enabled. DRS is now enabled.
to go chasing after those McLarens and really close down the gap if we can, because they've still got to pit. They didn't pit under safety car, so they may have ruined their race here, to be honest. I think they had it in the bag. They were so quick between those guys and Perez. They were flying, so it's a bit of a weird one, but yeah, it is what it is, I suppose. Anyway, lap 15, Perez had been catching Esteban Ocon, and Esteban Ocon beached his car on the curb, which is so easy to do here in Bahrain, and yeah, just spun around like, I don't know what, like he was on ice. So unfortunately, Perez is now the car behind us, Russell just behind him. Russell's actually managed to benefit greatly from that safety car because he was all the way down at P13 and now he finds himself in a podium-paying position. It's really mashed up the order. But here's George Russell. Incredible. Sergio Perez went round first and George followed him.
Green flag.
That was amazing because they were catching. If you were looking at the delta in the top left, we obviously didn't have a great gap. And I was getting a bit worried thinking, oh, I don't know if we got the pace here, but then they did that for us. Gave us a 5-second gap. And that's just going to let us just crack on with the race. Obviously, Perez is catching us at a very, very quick rate because their Red Bull is just so much faster. So we're going to have to do everything we can to defend. Deploying a bit of battery to try and keep the gap above 1 second. Just looking back here, Ocon has completely ruined his race. He was right up there with us, and yeah, unfortunately, just with that spin, ended up way down the order. But it's what it is. You can't win them all away. We got yellow flag over in sector 3. Daniel Ricciardo, not a great start for his Ferrari career. Here's what happened. So it just looks like a mechanical failure, unfortunately. Yeah, as he pulls to the side of the track. That is indeed a mechanical failure. We've also got another...
Okay, watch your pace. We've been informed the safety car is out. There appears to have been an issue with multiple stock vehicles on the track.
Another yellow flag behind us, and it looks like Perez spun it again at turn 10. So that's brought out the safety car, and well, happy days for us, I think. Although if it hadn't have brought the safety car out, we would have had a bit of a gap, but it did. And we've only got 2 racing laps to go. That should be enough for us, to be honest. If we can just hold Perez, and life's going to be made a little bit easier because Nicolas Latifi is in between us on the restart. So just looking at the restart now, backing up the pack a little bit, and we're off. And Nicolas Latifi is going to have to pull over at some point. He hasn't done so yet. There he goes. And everybody comes through. But we got a good restart there, and we've managed to pull what looks to be decent enough gap, I would say, to give us the opportunity to go home and win this race. What is Lance Stroll doing on the podium? I don't know. The 2 safety cars in this race have completely messed up the order. Even Hamilton, he was all the way down in 11th at the start of this race, has managed to find his way in 4th. So quite the season opener, I would say. But so far, onto the final lap, and we are still leading. We're still leading. Perez is close though, so we're really going to have to use all that ERS. I've been saving it, and with the safety car period, that really helped. So yeah, we just have to dump that, I would imagine, to try and get away as quickly as we possibly can. As we come round to complete the final few corners, it's looking like for Season 2, we're going to be leading the championship. That's a pretty surreal thing to say. Whether we can keep that momentum going, or whether we can keep that momentum going or not, I don't know. As we come up to cross the line in Bahrain to win the first round of Season 2. Wow, what a race. Can we keep the momentum going though? That's the big question. We obviously didn't quite have the pace over those Red Bulls, so we're going to have to do some upgrades and try and find some of that pace if we want to keep winning.
A real team effort to overcome their rivals for a memorable win today. So, Anthony, what made the difference out there today?
I think that smart tyre management on track and very smooth driving definitely assisted in their victory today. That combination meant they got the absolute maximum out of their tyres at all times.
As today's winners make their way up the podium steps, the folks at Alpine have shown once again just what it takes to build a successful Formula One team. A well-deserved win for them.
Wow, what a start to the second season of this career mode. A race win to kick us off. I wasn't expecting that today. I was expecting a good result. We obviously did really well in qualifying to qualify P4, but those Red Bulls were so fast, and I really felt like the Ferraris were a little bit out of position. I wasn't expecting the McLarens to be as fast, so yeah, we sort of found ourselves thinking, oh, actually, are we going to get like P6 again? That's where we were last season. So no, we did manage to win. We got lucky. Those 2 safety cars really helped us. And also Sergio Perez just kept making mistakes. I think he span at turn 10 2 or 3 times during that race. So that really helped us and tended to come at really crucial times. So I think really Red Bull gifted us that win this weekend. However, I do think with a few upgrades we could be winning on pure merit. I really do. So here's the championship standings then. Look at that. We lead the championship away. We head to Australia next, which is I love that track, especially after the updates. So I'm expecting good things there. Perhaps we can continue the run, get a second win, perhaps a second podium, and just, yeah, bag the points. If we can just bag the points early in the season, then it's going to put us in a really, really good space. I would say our goal for this season is 3rd as a constructor. As a driver, we obviously just want to beat what we did last year. So anything above 8th will be a bonus. We are eventually looking to challenge for a championship. I didn't quite think it would be in season 2, so I'm not laying my eggs in that basket just yet, but you never know. These things happen, so we'll see how it goes. Very, very good start to the season. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like. Leave us a little comment, subscribe if you're new, and I'll see you for the Australian Grand Prix. Bye.